What's going on, man, everybody? You got the old man Ebro here. You got
me, bro.
Rosenberg.
Yes. Hello.
And we have our partner, our friend, a guy that we've watched come up.
Yes,
Mr.
sir,
Ace
man.
Hood. What's up, bro?
Here, bro. Blessed, man.
So, first piece of the conversation I think we should get into is obviously album's out.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Okay.
this is album number
4.
Album number 4.
Yes.
Now, when I listen to your music, I hear someone spitting rhymes.
Right.
Focusing on lyrics, focusing on quality of music, diction, patterns. How come your name is not in the conversation with the Kendricks, the J. Coles, and these other lyricists out there?
I don't know, man. I think I wasn't backed by a cosign by nobody huge. I feel like, I think some of them guys were co-signed by, some of the biggest names in the industry.
Dre, Hov, right.
With, Dre, Hov, and stuff like that. Not only that, I'm not speaking, just from that, but they actually make good music, of course, and I'm actually a fan of those guys. But I just feel like it takes people time to get to know my story. I'm one of the few artists who's actually been through every barrier, through every roadblock. I've actually walked through them, you know what I'm saying?
What do you
in
mean
my
by
story.
that? What do you mean by
Well, look,
that?
before we get to that, can I just ask one thing? What about the Khaled cosign? That would still be
Khaled, it's still, but it's
Khaled ain't, I think you say Khaled ain't Dre
Khaled,
and Jay.
Khaled is a DJ, and what I mean by that is if what you not even knowing where I'm from, if somebody say, hey, Jay-Z was like, hey, Ace Hood music is incredible. Just by you not knowing and just being a fan of Jay and you feeling like Jay-Z is co-signing him, you feeling like it's a reason. He has to be amazing, or, Dre or whatever. You know what I mean? That's why I feel like
it's different than a DJ.
So what you're saying is because Khaled's a DJ, not a lyricist, the cosign is different.
It's different. It's different. You know what I mean? So his fans and supporters are very different from like mine. You know what I mean? As opposed to getting a huge cosign from like a Jay or like a Dre. These are guys who are well known and respected by guys like yourself and respected by the whole hip hop community in general.
Right, the average fan who just likes their music.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And not to take away from, of course they make good music, but I'm just one of the few, like, I think that the fans have to know my story even more. Even when I first jumped into the game, you never knew where Ace Hood came from or what he was doing. He had this huge record, but a lot of people didn't know of him. You know what I'm saying? So I think throughout this whole process, I've been building my story and just really giving the fans a perspective of where I'm coming from, and what I have to offer to this music industry. And I think the fans and my people are starting to really understand, you know what I mean, as I continue to give them good music and, great albums and mixtapes and, great singles, you know what I mean, they starting to come around more and more.
What have you done you said you've one of the few artists that had to navigate those barriers.
Right.
Like, give us an example of that in your mind. What are those barriers?
I think just everything, man. The musical doubts, man. Just the personal things that I've been through, you know what I'm saying? All that is just different. All that has played a role. When I first jumped in, just being behind a Khaled or whatever, for the most part, it's like I was under his shadow for a while.
How did you get there? Like, was it you knew somebody that knew somebody that knew somebody, or is it
How did you get a CD on the street?
How did you?
With Khaled?
Yeah.
A random day, man. Literally a random day, dog. Like I'm chilling at home, and a friend of mine came to the crib, was like, "Yo, let's go up to the station." And I was like, for what?
Oh, I love these stories.
You know what I'm saying? And he was like, let's go to the station. I'm like, for what? What we going to the station for? And I really didn't want to go because I didn't see no point in it. But Khaled got his annual birthday bash. It's big every year. And I wanted to perform. I wanted to be a part of it. We literally went up to the station, didn't place a call, nothing. Just ran up to the station. And Khaled pulled up, happened to pull up 5-10 minutes later in a blue Phantom. I never forget. And I ran up on Khaled. We had a tape. We had a video recorder. And I was like, yo, Khaled, let me spit for you on camera, man. Let me, let you know I'm a beast with this. And Khaled was like, nah, I'm on my way to a meeting. You know what I mean? I don't really got
I respect it, Khaled.
Nice.
I respect it. I done it.
He was like, he was like, yo, I'm on my way to a meeting. So I was like, man. And he was like, you got a CD, anything, bio? Luckily, I had my bio, envelope.
He was ready. See, I respect that too. I respect it.
I was ready, man. So he was like, yo, I'm going to take a listen to it. And when he told me that, I was like, you know what, you full of it. You know
and believe me, 9 times out of 10, he would have been full of it.
He full of it
because you get a lot of music. It's hard.
You do.
And 10 times out of 10, I'm full of it.
Yeah,
right.
There's a 10% chance I'm gonna listen. 0% chance he's gonna listen. Khaled probably in that 3 to 5%, but you got it.
I got it, man. He took the opportunity to listen to it, and he said, "Yo, I'm gonna give you a call back tonight." He kept his word. He kept a call back at like 11:30 that night, but my homie didn't tell me till like the following day. that Khaled called him back, and I was ecstatic, man. And from there on, everything was history. He wanted to hear me on I'm So Hood was out then, so he wanted to hear me on that record. Yeah, so I ended up writing 2 verses to that, and I sent it over. But he fell in love with just the hunger, man, my hunger and what I represented. You know, that pain, that passion.
Now, while we're on that, and I do want to move forward, but talk to the artists watching this, because when this goes out and we play this on the radio and we put this on the internet, there's gonna be 9 million rappers,
right,
who want to know why Ace Hood got on, and they see you now 4 albums in, like, man, it wasn't that hard.
Right.
Khaled gives you the look on the of that record, but how long did you have to show up to the studio day after day, night after night? Talk about that process.
Continuously, man, every single day. And what's so great about it is we started recording ASAP. You know what I mean? So we got in the studio and we just recorded records, and it took a while. You know what I mean? It took a while.
6 months.
It took maybe like
a year, 18
for me to
months?
actually get my first deal. It probably took about 6-7 months for me to actually get my first deal, my distribution deal with Def Jam. But throughout that whole process, we were just recording. He was just bringing me around, you know, to get used to, his staff and stuff like that.
Were you frustrated? Were there arguments?
No, not in the beginning, man. I was just honored for the opportunity, you know what I'm saying, to be around and to just be doing something positive with my life. Because when I jumped out of high school, I didn't know what I was gonna do. You know, I was working a job, 12-hour shifts every day. You know what I'm saying? So I was just honored to have the opportunity, but most importantly, just to record. Like, I'm one of the few youngins who grew up in the hood, but like, once I set my mind to music, that's all I wanted to do. I ain't want to sell dope. I ain't want to do none of that. All I wanted to do was just record.
Why didn't you want to do the dope thing? Why?
Because at the end of the day, like, I never wanted to just be another statistic. That was my whole thing. I never wanted my mom to visit me behind bars. I never wanted to be just that another black boy with dreadlocks that's walking the street. I just never wanted to be that. And I wanted more for myself, and I wanted more for my family. You know what I'm saying? It's experiencing things in life that changed me. You know, watching my mother cry over bills and not being able to pay and almost losing her home. That segment in my life changed everything for me. It changed my whole future. You know what I'm saying? And it made me who I am today. So seeing that is what drove me. It's so crazy because that one moment kept replaying in my head over and over every time I stepped in the booth. Every time I went across the world, that was the main thing replaying in my head, is that, man, I can't allow my mama to cry. I can't allow her to not want. You know what I mean? I'm tired of living like this, tired of living like that. Why can't I live like this? Who said I can't, be rich and be a millionaire and provide for my family, my mother? You know, my stepdad wasn't doing much of nothing. You know what I'm saying? So it stayed with me throughout the whole process.
So even after you went through all those things coming up, trying to make it and seeing your mom, once you did, basically make it and you had an album out, you went through another personal tragedy.
Right.
Losing a child.
Yes.
That's something everyone's nightmare. You know what I'm saying? It's like people say, it's like joining that club that no one ever wants to join.
Yeah, definitely.
I know that's probably tough for you, but take us through that a little bit, what it was like trying to recover from that situation.
By far the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life. It very unexpected. I had twins initially, and as a father, or just being a parent in general, you never want to see your loved ones, lose a loved one. You know what I mean? And I was there as much as possible, as much as I could be. But I seen, my daughter, and for me, take her last breath. You know what I'm saying? So that was the hardest thing in my life that I've ever been through, that I've ever seen. And I didn't even know mentally that I could ever move on from that circumstance. I didn't even know if I could ever do music again. You know what I mean? It was a lot of doubts. I went into a depression for a while. Didn't speak to no friends, no family. And it was just a tough moment for me. But, I just continued to keep faith in God, man. You know what I mean? My mom and my grandmother would just keep telling me, just keep praying, throughout the whole process. And I was broke down, man. It felt like I didn't want to be here no more. You know what I mean? I felt like I'd done something wrong, and I started placing the guilt on myself. Like, man, maybe if I could have been there more, if I could have been around, if I could have, you know what I mean? I seen her open her eyes. I seen her smile. These are the things that just, You know, and it's crazy. It's crazy.
And your other child who lived is a boy or girl?
She's a girl.
She's also a girl.
I had 2 girls.
And so how's your girl doing?
She's beautiful. She's beautiful, man. And I adore the ground she walks on, man. She's a princess, and you know, God has placed her here for a reason. I truly believe that. So, you know, and that's another reason, you know, in my life, and the only reason why I go so hard and I do the things that I do, you know, because I understand, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, she'll never want for anything in her life, you know what I'm saying? And I make sure that she has it, you know, and that's my motivation for everything that I do. Every time that I look at her, you know, that's a gift from God.
I saw you perform at that show I did at South by a couple years ago, and
Right.
and you talked about it on stage. And that was the first time I knew about it. And I was sitting there, and you'd only been she'd probably only passed away, you know, maybe 8 months earlier or something like
Right.
that when you hit the stage. And I've always thought about you since then, and you know how difficult I know that is, that recovery process. And I
Right.
think that's an inspiration to other people who go through things to continue, because at first I know it feels like you cannot move on.
Exactly.
And then all of a
Exactly.
sudden, one foot in front of the other, eventually you're able to, at least your life is never the same, but
Exactly.
you're able to be in
Exactly.
a place that you are today. So that's inspiring.
Yeah, definitely.
So, in hearing that story, you know, as a parent, obviously, we're watching this week 2 parents deal with the loss of their son, 17-year-old son, Trayvon Martin, right? And we're watching that, and you being from Florida, did you keep up on the trial? Like,
I did.
And
I
then
did.
how
Here
are
and
you
there.
feeling after seeing the results?
I feel hurt, man, in a sense. You know, I never knew Trayvon, but watching the whole trial, I felt like, you know, he was a part of my family. You know, my biggest thing, we just don't really understand, you know, how a guy is able to get off scot-free for, you know, killing a young innocent black brother. You know what I'm saying? All over, you know, quote unquote suspicion. You know, and for I literally was almost in tears, man, when the judge said you have no further business here with the courts, and for him to smile in court was I couldn't understand it, you know, because you got a family that's mourning, you know what I mean, that you know their son won't be able to wake up in the morning and see his mother, you know, shake hands with his homies, be able to visit that college he maybe wanted to go to, you know, his life is over, you know, while you smiling over a verdict. You know, and I felt like, you know, there was no justice, you know, and people in Florida are definitely taking it hard, you know, because where I'm from, man, it's you barely able to see 25. A lot of them don't see it. You lucky to see 21, you know, and it's tough seeing that kind of stuff.
Is that because of choices that those individuals made? Is that because of the economic situation? Like, talk to us. We don't live in Florida. I mean, I could assume, right? But I've never lived in Florida. So tell me why. What's going on there with young, and is this a black men?
Yeah, these are black men.
What's going on?
I visited a school not too long ago, and the principal was telling me, like, you know, we would like you to come out a lot more. You know, because our young brothers are not graduating, you know, and because, you know, they see us on TV and they want to be rap stars and they want to be drug dealers. You know, nowadays it's a trend. You know, it's sad that the world has come to this. You know, everything is a trend. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, being a doctor or a lawyer, it ain't cool no more in the hood. You know what I'm saying? So it's the young brothers who's actually killing each other. It's not even, you know, the older people. It's the 17, 18
going at each other.
That's going at one another. You know what I'm saying? So that's what most of the crime, and it's still in a sense it's still a race thing where we from. You know, the blacks are killing the whites, and back when I was growing up, it was Haitians versus Americans. You know, so they was killing up each other where I'm from. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's really a choice thing. I think it's really a choice thing, like for them. I think.
You know, I think it's, you know, we talk about misdirected anger and kind of like immature emotion of, and sometimes for black men, it's not cool to be emotional.
Right.
To say you're afraid, to say you're hurt, to say you're scared. Like, that's not okay. And so when you're frustrated with your immediate surroundings, where you're growing up, what your mom's going through, whatever, you know, what your sister's going through, you walk out into the world with this anger inside you.
Exactly.
So immediately, when somebody comes across your path, you're ready to pop off. Right. And that might be the day.
Yes.
Right? But that's also because we haven't been taught that it's okay to, in that moment when you saw your mom crying, right? You have the microphone. You could go to the booth and write your pain out.
Right.
Write your story out. Share your story. But not everybody has that outlet. Or not everybody's comfortable going to school that day and talking to their teacher because that's corny. Or talking to their principal because that's you a square now. And you don't want to get picked on and this and that. So it ends up manifesting itself in violence amongst each other.
True.
Right? True. So how do you go about from this day forward, now that you've seen this Trayvon thing, the story about you going to the high school, how are you going to proceed now? Are you going to tell your story, or what are you going to do for the young men out there?
I think continue telling my story, like really getting the young brothers to really understand that we all go through things in life. You know what I'm saying? We all see our ups and downs, and and we all are a product of our environment. But who's to say, like, why be a drug dealer? Like, you know what I mean? It's cool to be successful in other ways. You know what I'm saying? It ain't always, I understand you want to ride nice cars, but there's more to life. You know what I mean? So my message in my music was to always inspire, because I know there's young brothers out there who killing one another. You know what I mean? And we all go through trials and tribulations. You know what I'm saying? But I just try to continue to inspire my music to let them know that we all go through certain things in life, but you got to turn that negative into a positive. You know what I'm saying? Like focus that energy on something else as opposed to killing one another. You know what I'm saying? Like you say, the normal black man wouldn't, black brother wouldn't admit that he's afraid. Oh no, I ain't scared, man. I ain't scared. I ain't this, I ain't that. But I just found a way. I'm just trying to give people hope that I channel my energy and my focus into something positive. You know what I mean? So you can do the same. And a lot of people tweet me and they hit me up like, yo, Ace, your music is inspiring. It led me to wanna create beats more, wanna hustle more for my family, or wanna just have different morals and beliefs, as opposed to just saying, okay, you know what? I'm gonna be on the streets, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. You know what I mean? Like, you can really go through things in life, but still be successful and still have a story told. Because I've been through it all, but I was able to take that negative and turn it into a positive. I grew up around the crack sales, the dope dealers, and all that type of stuff. I grew up around it. You know what I mean? But I never inherited that. You know what I'm saying?
Was there a man in your life that directed you, or was it really just your mom? And do you have brothers and sisters, or
brothers and sisters? I got brothers and sisters. They went off to college, and I guess just me seeing and watching. You know what I mean? I was always the type, always humble to just sit back and absorb. I would soak up a lot of energy, so I would watch. So certain mistakes that I would see made, I don't want to make that mistake. You know what I mean? I would see, if I see a friend of mine, visit, and his mom go visit him in jail, and she's crying and all this type of stuff. I don't want that for my mother. You know what I mean? I want something greater at the end of the day. So just seeing, knowing that my brothers and sisters was doing something positive in their life, I want to do something positive in mine.
What do your brothers and sisters do now?
My brother's actually in the Army. One of my brothers right now is my assistant. He's actually he's studying to be a preacher. You know what I mean? So he's studying that. I have a sister she's in college as well, my little sister. My older sister is a nursing assistant. And of course I do music.
So everyone in your family.
Yeah,
so
everyone,
your mom did something right.
Moms wasn't having it, and motherfuckers is working.
Yeah, man. Moms wasn't having it, man. Even growing up, like she was the right kind of strict. You know what I mean? But she made sure she instilled the morals, and I just kept them with me even throughout this process. And being in the game, and being around certain spirits and energy, I never inherit that. I always stick to my morals and just what I believe in. You know what I'm saying? And I just keep moving.
You said something earlier that stuck with me for some reason about it's not cool for people to want to be a doctor or a lawyer or do anything that's like not glamorous. Because I was sitting there thinking about, I was like, well, what's really the benefit to trying to do the streets as opposed to trying to go that way? Because yeah, they'll say it's a fast buck, but to be honest, with all the risks you take, it's the risk versus reward.
Successful
worse.
Selling drugs are slim to none.
Because if you go the school and work route, you're not risking death. That's not even there. You're only risking failure. As opposed to drug dealing, you're risking failure and potential death.
Exactly.
And it's like people, and maybe this is something that our culture may be to blame for some, is that we do present this idea of the best part of it all being the videos and the girls and the money, when I'm sure for you, the best thing that's happened to your life is the fact that when you're with your daughter and your family, you're in a comfortable, you're relaxed, you're chilling. And that's the same thing you can get to if you go the job route. It's the same wonderful benefits.
Exactly, man. Nobody nowadays want to work a 9 to 5. Nobody wants to, But I don't know. I just believe in doing. I believe in never giving excuses in life. That's my motto.
You guys are the same in that regard.
Never give an excuse in life.
I'm the worst. They hate me because I'll be like, yo, fuck your excuse.
Yeah, it's no excuses in life, dog.
Fuck
no
your
excuses.
excuse.
If you want to be successful, you can be successful. That's just certain work you have to do.
Success is relative.
Right.
Right? That's one of those terms that what's success to one may not be to another, right?
Exactly.
But if you're doing better than your mother, just a little bit, then hopefully your children are going to do a little bit better than you, and so on and so forth. It's not the, yo, I'm a millionaire, gazillionaire. It's just and I think we all get so caught up in how are we going to become the next Hove.
Exactly.
Like that's that's one dude.
Exactly.
Even before Hove became Hove, before that was what, a Russell? It's not a Diddy.
Right.
There's only a couple. It's kind of like the kid you see playing basketball, and he's the nicest motherfucker around the way.
Yeah.
But there's only 14 slots on the team.
Exactly.
And there's only 28, 30 teams in the league, whatever the number is. The odds of you getting in there are slim.
Right.
So you better have a plan B.
That's the worst. That line, when you talk to the kids and they say they want to be a ball player, and you just know that even there's a 99.9% chance that you're wrong. No matter how much you believe in that, because people are choosing only these specific
But you're an
things.
asshole when you shit on their dreams.
No, I never would.
You're an asshole when you're like, I mean, that's cool, fam, but what else you gonna do?
That's the way you approach it, though. That's great. I hope it works out. Yo, but if it doesn't, what if you get injured?
Exactly.
What else is there? You got to have something else.
And you know, on every basketball team, there's 4 or 5 different coaches. There's a trainer.
Boom.
There's a marketing person. There's a sales person. There's there's all types of other shit around the basketball
That's really fun.
team.
It's still really fun.
And it's real fun. And it pays
pretty good, too.
It pays pretty good.
There's so much shit out there.
Now, we got to get to your jewelry. Because that was an international incident.
I missed it, by the way, because I was watching the soccer game. I missed it.
Let me tell you something. There's a lot of shit happening in the world. Yeah. But when that bezel jumped off Ace Hood's watch, not even at the BET Awards,
the
pre-BET
Awards,
it was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I got news for everybody. Jewelry breaks. I don't give a fuck who you bought it from.
It does.
The funniest part, though, is that A, people took it really seriously, but B, that in print at least, your response sounded really serious too, because it was like, Ace Hood has said he'll be firing his jeweler. I was like, way to taking matters into his own hands. So what happened? It just fell while you were talking to them?
Literally, just fell. And it was so crazy, man. I'm like, at that point in time, it decided to happen at that moment. I had just performed 20 minutes before that on the pre-show, just rocked out. And I walked the red carpet even prior to me walking on BT stage. I had walked the red carpet like for 20 minutes and nothing happened. So you mean when I get on the stage, on TV, the bezel just happened to come off. And when it did, I didn't even notice that it was the bezel, because that was the last thing in my mind. I feel like it was something, the belt, something fell out of my pocket, anything. You know what I'm saying? But it happened. It wasn't even necessarily the jeweler's fault. It's the manufacturer. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you know, where I'm from, we get plain rollies and we bust them down. I ain't the only artist who get their rollies and bust them down and change the bells and put bigger diamonds. It's just the way of life. It's just the way, you know, it's how things are. So I did that, and usually they don't laser them down. You know what I mean? But I made sure all my watches are lasered now. You know what I mean?
What does that mean? What does that mean?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah,
laser down meaning it won't ever come off. Meaning like how this
like
is
welded almost.
Yeah, meaning like it's welded. This won't be able to come off ever. You know what I'm saying?
Can I tell you something while we're having this conversation? All this jewelry talk is cool. I don't give a flying fuck about your bezel. I was like, he probably just bought a. I mean, it's Ace Hood. He's on his 4th album. He's out here hustling. This nigga ain't got that much money to be fuck. He probably got an imposter watch. Who gives a fuck?
Nah,
he didn't have an imposter watch.
Nah. See, that's one thing. Even I'm a real individual at heart, and even if I'm gonna purchase something, I'm gonna purchase the real. That's just how I grew up.
Or not wear it at all.
Or not wear it at all. When I say I spend $60,000, $70,000 on my watch, I really mean that. This is a $60,000 watch for real.
Can I make a suggestion?
Talk to me.
And it's a great investment. Jewelry is a great investment.
It is.
It is. Diamonds are a great investment.
Right.
Because like you said, you could break it down. You could take those diamonds out of that, go make some other shit.
Right.
Great investment. What else could we use that $60,000 or $70,000 for?
Because that's not the number one thing you would go for.
Because that's not the number one thing that Ace Hood, I believe.
Right.
Because this is your 4th album.
Yes, of course.
What if there's not a 5th? That's 7. Now, granted, you can sell a watch, break it down.
Right.
That's college for baby girl.
Right.
That's a house for moms.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of other shit there.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you know, mom's got a crib. You know, recently bought mom's a crib, a beautiful crib. You know, pay for that cash. You know, God is good. I mean,
this is extra. You're saying this isn't
You're
the
saying
life.
this is.
Yeah, these are extra blessings. That's all it is.
But I can't tell you. Let me tell you something. They got some accounts out there.
Yeah.
If you put $60,000 in one of them accounts,
I do.
You can make a lot more money.
Yeah, and I do.
So you do that too?
Of course.
Financial planning.
Listen, I'm all about investing. I'm all about investment.
Now, also, and you're all about your taxes too, right? Because
course.
you're not going to be another one. Do not be another one.
When it comes to money, like I live and I learn. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I done had money before and lost money. I done been through that process in
your
life
music
already.
career.
Yeah, my music career. Right before Hustle Hard, I had money. I had hundreds of thousands of dollars, of course.
And it went.
Yeah, and it went.
Where did it go? Where did it go? Strip club, keep it 100. King of Diamonds Monday.
No. I don't do that, man. I let splurge and I don't do that. That's one thing.
So where'd it go?
I'm not a big fan of that like that. It's just over time, you know, spending a little on taxes, this and that, and not having shows. After a while, money runs out.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So after like my second album, things weren't going as I planned. You know what I mean? So you spending money. So me living in a condo that's $2,800 a month.
Right. You raised your overhead, not knowing that the money was gonna slow, and now the overhead's up here. Now, boom.
Exactly. You know what I mean? But you live and you learn. After Hustle Hard came, and you know I'm making money, and now I got more money than I've ever had. You know, so I'm all about investments. You know, so anything that I try to do is all about investments. When it comes to purchasing a home, investing, I'm all about, you know, whether it's building Section 8 homes and renovating them. That's all I'm about. Just strictly investment.
So do you have any other like big things you splurge on besides the jewels, or is that the main thing for you?
Not at all. Just I mean the jewels, and I'm not even a big splurger on that.
See, he doesn't
get
jewels.
Like
he doesn't get jewels, sir.
Yeah.
Jewels, classic OC.
It's different.
Do you know the OC album Jewels? I'm about to put you on. I'm about to
talk to me.
Classic album called Jewels from '95.
Yeah.
So that's the main. So you know, it's funny because, for example, everything's relative, right? Me and you see him, we're like, damn, that watch life. It's like when my white friends visit me from home, they see my sneaker collection,
right?
And they're like, oh my God, you have a lot of sneakers. I'm like, fam, I'm not even in the sneaker conversation. I like it.
Yeah.
So you're the same.
Like me,
you like the jewels, but compared to the people you're around, you're like, they go in.
Yeah, they go in, man. I ain't with all that. Nice.
I respect it though, and I respect your honesty, and I thank you for coming through, my G.
Of course, my
thank you.
Good talk,
yo, man. We've been watching you grow for some time, and I do believe that people should definitely go and listen to your music. I do believe you do a great job.
Yeah. You are very underrated.
You are very underrated, and you, depending on where you go from here,
right,
you will go down in history as the rapper with some of the best looks to start their career in the history of rap.
Right.
You have had features with, I mean, everybody from your region.
Exactly.
That matters.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yo, no matter where it goes from here, you fucking put in work, and I respect it and I appreciate it, man.
I hope people check this album out. You got an interesting story
and
to tell.
Don't you ever fucking question his bezel. That shit is lasered on now. We will not have any problems from here on out with the bezel.
House on the wrist.
See that?
Or house instead of wrist. Whatever.
That would be yours.